Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm going to do this video to say that they need to name the Cape Town airport after Robert Sobukwe, or the CT airport after Sobukwe. Well, that's down in South Africa. Cape Town is called CT. Well, the Cape Town airport is going to get a renaming, and the meeting to try to decide what to rename it before the committee. The committee heard from various people, and the committee had to end the meeting, not end it permanently, but postpone it because people were acting like idiots, and it was like a three-ring circus out there. The EFF came in demanding that the airport get named after Winnie Mandela, and the EFF party of Julius Malema, they're avid supporters of Winnie Mandela and her ideology. Well, the EFF will not hear of any other names because they say it has to be named after Winnie Mandela, and they caused a storm and caused a scene in the meeting, and it was just sick. Now, the people who are descendants of Khoi, they want it named after one of their heroes. Okay, I can see that. The Khoisan's largely forgotten in South Africa. And the Khoisan, by and large, their descendants are the Cape Coloreds. And Cape Coloreds nowadays are usually part Khoi. They're mixed with a lot of other races. I don't want to get into that. That's a different video for a different day. But I'm going to say that it needs to be named after Sobukwe, and I'm going to give a number of reasons. One, he was like the Martin Luther King of South Africa. He protested peacefully to end apartheid. He was highly educated, and he believed there was only one race, the human race. Number two, he started the Pan-African Congress, but when he started it was a peaceful organization. It wasn't an anti-white or militant organization when he started it. Number three, yes, he didn't want whites working in his organization, but he felt like there were plenty of whites who genuinely wanted to end apartheid, and he didn't view all whites as racist. He didn't want whites and blacks working together to end apartheid because he was worried that he was gonna, that because of the inequality in the education system back then, that subconsciously the blacks would have been dependent on the whites and how to do a lot of things, which is not something he wanted. He wanted the blacks to be economically free and independent, as well as politically free and independent. And there was a white journalist that's still alive, and he and Sobukwe were like brothers. And Sobukwe's widow has testified to that. She's 90 years old and still living. So they needed to name the airport after Robert Sobukwe. Robert Sobukwe went in 1960, turned in their passes, said we're not going to have our pass books anymore to have to go all over South Africa. And then they turned themselves into the police and said, you can arrest us if you'd like, but we're not taking our passes everywhere we go, which basically back then all black South Africans had to do that. And that was a very noble thing to do. And Sobukwe was highly educated. In spite of him growing up poor, he was highly educated in the arts and the classics and the literature. And then the protest, the Sharpeville massacre was started by the government. It wasn't started by the protesters. The protesters fired first, and the Sharpeville massacre was largely an overreaction by the government, or an unnecessary reaction to Sobukwe's protest of the pass law. So this will be a good way for us to remember the Sharpeville massacre, remember Robert Sobukwe, which he's a largely forgotten hero in South Africa. Now, the last 2 to 3 years, the South African government is doing a good job trying to preserve his legacy and get South Africans to remember him, but renaming the Cape Town airport after him will pretty much, I'm not going to say force, but it's pretty much people are going to ask questions, who's Robert Sobukwe, and they're going to start studying his life and realize how much of a selfless individual he was. Anyways, hope everybody's doing well. Take care. God bless him. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.